Today, we are going to decode the IPO for Suba Hotels. They're a pretty big deal in India's hotel industry, and we're going to tear apart their official filing to see what the real story is and why they want to go public right now.
So let me ask you this. Have you ever actually tried to read one of these things? It's a lot. We're talking hundreds of pages of super dense legal and financial speak. It's built for accuracy, for sure, but definitely not for a quick read.
The official name for this giant document is a Draft Red Herring Prospectus, or DRHP. You can just think of it as the company's ultimate sales pitch. It has everything: how they run their business, what their finances look like, and, this is the important part, all the things that could possibly go wrong. So that's our mission today. We're going to cut right through the noise, pull out the most important bits, and piece together the story that's hiding in all that jargon.
Here's the game plan. We'll start by getting to know Suba Hotels. Then we'll zoom out to look at the huge opportunity in the Indian market right now. From there, we'll dive into the IPO itself, where the money is going, what the fine print says, the risks. And then we'll wrap it all up with the main takeaways.
All right, let's kick things off with the star of the show. Who exactly is Suba Hotels?
Okay, so Suba is a major player, especially in what's called the mid-scale hotel market. Their special sauce, their whole strategy, is finding hotels that aren't doing so well, buying them, and then completely turning them around. They renovate them and stick one of their brands on the door, like Click or Suba, or even big international names like Comfort and Clarion.
And this is where it gets really interesting. They have a super flexible business model. They don't just own every building, they also manage properties for other owners. They lease some, and they franchise their brand out. This is often called an asset-light approach, and it's a game changer because it means they can grow way faster and without needing as much cash up front. Any IPO is all about timing, so you have to ask, why now? To answer that, we need to look at the bigger picture, because India's entire hospitality industry is absolutely booming. And the main driver behind all of this, India's explosive economic growth. I mean, look at this. The country is on track to blow past Japan and Germany to become the third largest economy in the world. And a bigger economy means more people traveling for business and a growing middle class that wants to take vacations. The scale of what's happening is just mind-boggling. The government is pumping a ton of money into new infrastructure. The World Bank thinks India needs something like $840 billion for new urban projects. That's more airports, better roads, new train lines, all the stuff that makes it easier for people to travel and, you guessed it, stay in hotels. And you can see the direct impact right here. The number of branded hotel rooms is just steadily climbing. But here's the real kicker, and this comes straight from the prospectus. Half of all these new rooms are in that mid-scale to upscale category. That is Suba's home turf. They're not just growing, they are perfectly positioned on a massive wave. Okay, so we've got a strong company in a red-hot market. Now let's get to the main event, the IPO itself. Why do they need to raise all this cash, and what are they going to do with it?
And just as a quick reminder, an IPO is simply when a private company offers shares to the public for the very first time. It's a huge step that lets them raise a lot of capital to fuel their growth.
So what's Suba's plan for the money? Well, they're being incredibly specific. This isn't just some slush fund for general corporate purposes. Nope. The money is going directly into what's called capital expenditure, basically upgrading the hotels they already have and finishing up some projects that are already in the works.
And they really get into the weeds on this. The prospectus sets aside over 60 crore rupees to fix up 8 specific hotels. So this isn't just a vague promise, it's a concrete plan. They're telling investors your money is going right here to make these specific buildings more valuable.
All right, now for the part you can never, ever skip. Every prospectus has a big section on risks, and you have to pay attention to it. So what could actually go wrong here? Let's start with the day-to-day business risks. I mean, think about it. Almost a quarter of their revenue comes from online travel websites. What if those sites decide to charge higher commissions? That would hit Suvala's profits hard. The company also points out other modern realities, like what if business travel never fully recovers because of video calls? And they're totally dependent on their IT systems. If those go down, it's a huge problem.
Now let's get into the nitty-gritty financial and legal stuff. To their credit, they're upfront about a few things. Their loan agreements have some pretty strict rules that they have struggled to meet in the past. There's some ongoing litigation, too. And they mentioned they've been late on some government filings before.
These are exactly the kinds of red flags you need to be aware of. Okay, we've looked at the company, the market, the IPO plan, and the risks. Let's pull this all together. What is the bottom line here?
So here it is, the whole story in one place. On one hand, the opportunity is massive. You've got a solid company in the perfect part of the market, riding a wave of economic growth and government spending. And they have a clear, tangible plan for the IPO money. But on the other hand, the risks are just as real. They rely heavily on those booking websites, the competition is fierce, and they've got those financial and legal issues we just talked about.
And hey, don't just take it from me. The company says it themselves, right here in the prospectus. They are refreshingly direct about it. They know they're in a dogfight, and they expect it to stay that way.
And that really brings us to the big final question. As India's travel market continues to explode, who's going to win? Is it going to be the massive luxury brands building shiny new towers? Or will it be the smarter, more agile players like Suba, who have perfected the art of finding diamonds in the rough? This IPO, well, it's a huge bet that the answer is the latter. And that's the real story to keep an eye on.